Dah siap.
Pandainya. Murid-murid, sini. Kalau semua dah sedia dah untuk rumah terbuka kita?
Dah. Jadi kita belajar sama-sama, Okey, nombor 1. Korang buat elok tau. Kalau tak ada rembang nanti. Okey, nombor 3.
Puan, lor ini bos kami dah beli. Dia tak kasih buat aktiviti kat sini tau.
Apa-apa pun tak nak.
Cik.
Cik, Pai! Sekarang ni tempat bisnes aku. Bukan tempat untuk kamu semua main-main. Faham? Aku dengar kamu orang tak letak dokumen yang lengkap. Tak tahu datang dari mana. Kalau mau belajar, kamu pergi cari tempat lain. Diamlah. Jangan buat bising. Customer aku sudah komplain.
Saya faham Cikgu Siti. Tapi budak ni tak ada sijil lahir, tak ada dokumen.
Tak bagi budak-budak ni pergi sekolah kan? Tak apa. Biar aku je yang dekatkan sekolah dengan diorang.
Boleh tak saya tukar apple ni dengan buku tu?
Yang ni? Boleh je. Nah. Tak apa, awak simpan je apple tu, okey?
Betul ke?
Betul.
Terima kasih, Kak.
Ken, so A untuk?
Apple.
B untuk?
Ball.
C untuk?
Cat.
Nak! Lap cepat!
Walaupun dia tak ada dokumen, Cik, dia tetap ada masa depan.
Peraturan tetap peraturan.
Kalau dah tak ada jalan lain, Cik, memang masa depan budak-budak ni tertutup selamanya, Cik. Budak-budak ni tak minta kemewahan. Diorang cuma minta peluang. Kalau maksud sebenar raya adalah untuk buka pintu dan hati, inilah masanya tuan-tuan dan puan-puan. Untuk kita buka pintu untuk mereka ni semua.
Bos, shop kita terbakar sebab ada orang buang rokok. Kita kena cari tempat lain.
Mr. Lim, saya nak jemput awak ke rumah terbuka hari raya nanti.
Bukankah itu maksud sebenar raya?
Pergi! Pergi!
Dulu aku fikir sekolah untuk yang ada. Cikgu ajar ilmu untuk semua. Walau datang tanpa nama, di sini kami semua diterima.
Haji, bye-bye, bye-bye. Tempat ini tempat ini hamba orang pakai je. Tapi jangan bising sangat.
cikgu, okey? Ilmu yang kita ada, kita kena kongsikan dengan semua.
Tahun depan boleh tak saya ajar budak baru?
Boleh.
Terima kasih, cikgu.
I want one of my kids in Jockey to become the future leader. They can be proud of themselves telling that I'm the street children that came out from the Bukujang Jockey. And I'm here to change humanity. I'm here to change how people live. Okay, done.
Okay, right, morning everyone. Welcome back to Morning Kappa at 8. I'm Joseph here. So looking at the yesterday price actions, like the Hang Seng experienced a very strong selling pressure. Okay, and so far we still keep bearish bias on the Hang Seng index. You can see that Hang Seng experienced a very strong selling pressure yesterday, especially the 1024 Kuaishou have went down after publish negative piece of results. Then on the as of the S&P 500 January market tends to have profit-taking mode after the Trump have posted in their truth social that he warned Iran to look at the deal seriously. It was somewhere like Malaysia time at 8 p.m. That's where trigger a very strong selling pressure. Then on about 4 a.m. This morning, he tweeted, he posted that he's going to extend the ceasefire between US and Iran to another 10 more days to the 6th of April. And that post have barely left the market. If you look at the 5-minute charts, the Trump post only lift the oil price lower. Then on subsequently, the oil price continued to move upwards, where the index have see a very strong corrections and went down all the way until the market closed. As such, I think that the sentiment remain negative so far, and setup have more favor on the downside at this juncture. Right, looking at the S&P 500, can see that 200 days moving average is a very strong resistance right now. Okay, and as for the FKRI, we still keep a bullish swing bias, but we move our stop loss to 1680. Now, as for the this FCPO, right, yesterday underwent a strong bullish price actions, eyeing to break past 4006 resistance. So I think for the past 1 week, market has been looking at SUNMED-CC, and you can see that based on the this map, right, SUNMED-CC continue to lead the market by sentiment. It went up by 8% yesterday. So afterwards, we just look at some of the new warrants that are going to introduce by Vanessa team. Right. As for the trading stock this morning, we're looking at hibiscus petroleum that are eyeing to break past 2 ringgit and 20 cents. So the breakout happened, hibiscus will climb towards 2 ringgit 40 cents and followed by 2 ringgit and 60. Current support is 2 ringgit. Then on we have Johor plantations break past 1 ringgit and 70 cents. eyeing to test R1 180 and followed by R2 190. Right, downside support is at 160. Okay. So we have one pending breakout and then one breakout stock. So I stop here and pass on to the next presenter. Thank you.
All right. Good morning, everyone. So today we have a results review on Binastra Corporation. So yesterday, Binastra announced its FY26 year-ending January results, which saw a core profit of 133 million ringgit, which was 48% year-on-year higher, and also another record high year. But particularly for the fourth quarter of 2026, also core profit for Binastra was at 41 million ringgit, which was 66% year-on-year higher, thanks to a higher recognition of ongoing projects. In terms of their outstanding order book as of end of March, is at about 7.1 billion ringgit versus about 3.6 billion ringgit a year ago. And this was due to the wins which they secured throughout FY26, particularly from Johor Bahru, which totaled up to about 2.5 billion, or which is at about 30 to 35% out of the total outstanding order book of Binastra. So moving forward, management aims to secure a job replenishment level that exceeds 2 billion ringgit. We, on the other hand, have penciled in about 3 billion ringgit of new job wins for FY27, which we view is kind of reasonable, given that for FY27 so far, as we are only in the second month of FY27, they have secured 820 million ringgit worth of new projects. So that's about 2.2 billion worth more to go for the remainder of FY27. And another thing to bear in mind, moving forward, Binastra would aim to focus more on data center projects, given that they are very, very busy in Johor Bahru, to the point that, they would want to solely focus on executing that. But at the meantime, in Klang Valley, they are, wanting to look at or eye for two to three data center jobs for FY27. All in, there were no changes to our earnings estimates, given that earnings were in line, but we introduced our FY29 estimates, which pencils in a 2.5 billion job win. So with that, our target price of 2 ringgit and 72 cents remains unchanged. We continue to like Binastra for its efforts to continue diversifying into other types of projects beyond high-rise residentials, namely data centers, solar PV projects, and even sewage treatment plants. So that's about it. I'll pass on the floor to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Morning, everyone. This is Vanessa, and I'm very happy today that we are going to have the first SUNMED-CC warrant, both core warrants about SUNMED-CC. Right, so let me share with you. All right, so actually way before the IPO of SUNMED-CC, I have already received questions such as, oh, when are we going to have the first core warrant or put warrant? I mean, any structured warrants about SUNMED-CC. All right, so SUNMED-CC is a very, very big IPO. So we have successfully listed. We are like one of the first issuers that issued SUNMED-CC core warrants today. All right, so just cut to the chase. So for SUNMED-CC, for RHB, we have two core warrants. So one is SUNMED-CC and SUNMED-CD. Okay, so the exercise price, I would say both, or like all of the SUNMED-CC core warrants already quite in the money, because the exercise price was lower. So as we noticed that the price movement for SUNMED-CC has been very, very strong for these few days. Yeah, so I mean, ever since it's listed. Okay, so a very straightforward strategy for you to choose the Sunway Medical warrants is that you can actually look at the ratio right now. All right, so I have done a comparison on all the Sunway Medical call warrants from CA to CF. There will be 6 listed today. All the exercise price are stated here, exercise ratio and expiry date. So what makes SUNMED-CC? So SUNMED-CC is what makes it different is that the exercise ratio is at 4, while CD is at 2. Okay, so how do you look at it? So when the exercise ratio is higher, right, it will actually break the warrants down to a smaller pieces, which means the absolute price of the warrant would be cheaper. Okay, so in this case, SUNMED-CC are for those who would like to have a better effective gearing because the price is relatively lower compared to CD, because CD is only, the exercise ratio is only 2, so it will be relatively higher. However, that's one thing. For SUNMED-CC, even though the effective gearing is, higher, but the sensitivity is not so good compared to CD. But in today's term of Sunway Medical, when we say it's not that good, the sensitivity is about 2 ticks. Yeah, if we are using the closing price of yesterday to generate the price metrics, we can actually tell SUNMED-CC has a sensitivity of 2 ticks, while SUNMED-CD, if you are like super aggressive type, the sensitivity is by 1 tick only. So when SUNMED is going up, then you actually make money very fast. However, when it comes down, you definitely have to set a stop loss for both of these warrants. Okay, so so this is the spec for all the SUNMED warrants today. Okay, the data is actually retrieved from Bursa Malaysia. Okay, oh, that's one thing. So since all of the warrants like CC and CD, they are both in the money, that's one thing that you don't have to worry about, is that the high premium of warrants. So normally for in the money warrants, the premium will be lesser compared to all these warrants that's out of the money or maybe at the money and very new. Yeah, so it will be a good choice if you are still bullish on SUNMED. Yeah, so this is just an example on how do you actually look at the metrics. I use Dialog and also Hibiscus as an example. So like you see, this color changes will be 2 ticks, and this color changes will be at 1 tick. Yeah, so it will flip very fast. Just a preempt on today's trade that the warrants listed today, since all are deep in the money, then you will actually notice the warrant price will not be as low as 5 cents or 6 cents. It will actually be more than 15 cents at least. Yeah. All right, so besides from Sunway Medical, SUNMED-CC and SUNMED-CD, we do have other new warrants as well. We have, if you are looking into the healthcare sector as well, we have KPJC 36 with an exercise price of 3.38 cents. Not to forget YTL and YTL Power, as in general, the YTL and YTL Power call warrants in the market are, the exercise price is either way too high or way too low, right? So which means that it's not so relevant anymore. So you can actually look at the YTL Power C1P and YTL C2Q with the exercise price as stated here. So the full list will be shared on RHB website and also on the RHB Investment Bank Telegram channel. So with this, I end my presentation and I'll pass the floor to Siang. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Morning, everyone. Let me continue with results note on VS Industry. This is their first half FY26 results, financial year ending July. Essentially, the results were way below expectation. They reported net losses for the period of first half FY26. Mainly due to 2 reasons. Number one, a sharp drop in volumes by one of the key customers during the quarter. And hence, if you look at second quarter revenue, that was the lowest quarterly revenue since pandemic. And secondly, there was also some worse than expected startup track in Philippines after the commissioning of a second model due to an unplanned supply chain disruption, and hence Philippines losses actually widened Q on Q during second quarter. But this has since been resolved as BS has internalized the production chain and started their own mode to produce for the second model. And subsequently in Philippines, what we can expect is the third model to be starting in the middle of 2026, and that should push the Philippines operations closer to a break-even level. Meanwhile, on the ongoing geopolitical tensions, BS has not seen any sort of major part shortage, but has definitely noted a material increase in prices for parts and plastic resin. But this will all be passed on to their customers eventually. The impact of stronger ringgit should be bottoming out going forward, as inventory has been repriced to a USD MYR rate of 3.9 at the end of second quarter. And just to highlight, the balance sheet has remained rather sturdy at a net cash position as of second quarter. That should allow VS to withstand the market turbulence and uncertainties. All in, we post results, we cut our numbers by between 20 to 80% to account for the weaker than expected volume. And while we acknowledge the challenges brought about by the demand uncertainties, valuation may have largely priced in the risk, with the stock now trading at -2 standard deviation over its 5-year mean. And on positive notes, we expect Philippines expansion and potential market share gains from an industry consolidation to mitigate or offset the impact of soft demand, and that should propel an earnings recovery in FY27. So all in, we maintain our buy call with a lower target price of 45 cents. That's it from us for today. Thanks for joining us this morning. Happy trading, and we will see you in the next morning kappa at 8. Thank you.